Good morning. It's 8 o'clock and welcome to today's Munch&Learn. I hope you've got your shreddies out on the table or your toast or whatever else it is you're planning on having for breakfast. Thank you all for joining me. I can see there are a couple of people just literally just clicking the Access Now button. So today we're going to talk about how to make profits in your business. Normally I would have a guest speaker on, but today you've got the pleasure of just my company. This is a subject that's dear to every business owner's heart, obviously. And so we're going to walk through 11 steps, the key things that you need to pay attention to, the key things you need to do to make sure that you're making money in your business. I mentioned in the chat earlier on that there's no cameras or microphones. I can't see you or hear you. So if you have a question, please put it in the question box. The chat is live. So if you want to pop anything in the chat box just to ask me to repeat something, I'll talk a little bit slower. When I get excited, I tend to talk too quickly. Then I'll obviously be happy to do that. Great. So let's kick off and walk you through the process. So how to make a profit in your business. It's surprising how many companies and how many business owners don't focus on the profit in the business. They focus on how much money is in their bank account. And those two things are not the same thing. And of course, we're all massive fans of social media, and we're all out there on LinkedIn and other places, and you hear loads and loads of success stories, don't you, about a new business that started yesterday and is instantly making tons of money. But the reality is usually way, way different to that. It can take years for new companies to discover how to make a profit. And that's if they're able to stay open at all. The success rate for UK businesses failing within the first 5 years is over 80% fail within the first 5 years, which is a pretty shocking statistic. And of those 20% that survive, 80% of those don't make it through to 10 years. So focusing on profitability is a key point. Now, if you've listened to any of our previous webinars, you'll know that we've talked about marketing, how to win more customers. Well, we've talked about resilience in business and a whole host of other subjects. This one is really getting to the nub of the problem. So if you've recently started a business, you've planned to not have income from day one. Those of us who are optimists, of course, always expect the money to start rolling in immediately, and that's never the reality. But you need to figure out what that's going to look like. After all, the reason that you're in business is to have a better life, right? Not just to give yourself a job that you can pay yourself for, hopefully making enough money. So a profitable business doesn't just happen. So how do you need to make money? You need the right knowledge, strategies and tools, of course, and you'll need a plan. So let's walk through what I call the 11 steps to making a profit in your business. Whether you're large or small, these rules are pretty much the same. And I've kind of targeted this at mid-level businesses, but you can read up or read down from that in terms of how it might apply to you. So the number one problem I see in probably 80% of businesses that I work with is that many business owners don't understand the financials. They don't understand what the content of a profit and loss account looks like. They don't understand the impact of an expense over here versus a sale over there. And all of those things are really, really important. Now, you don't need to be an expert. Let me just be clear on that. But you do need to understand the key elements of a profit and loss account and what is going to impact you. Payroll, taxes, national insurance, paying suppliers on time, a lovely thing called a cash gap that we often talk about, which is you're paying for something here and then 60 days later you get paid for it. That gap in the middle is coming out of your bank account. You're financing the holding of that stock. So the real number that is going to determine if you stay in business is how much profit you make before you pay tax. I think about it like this. You wouldn't fly a plane, would you, without knowing how to read the dashboard? You wouldn't drive your car without knowing how to read the dashboard. And the same thing applies to your business. How do you know if you're winning or losing, making money or losing money if you don't understand the controls? So talk to somebody, talk to your accountant, figure out what the key metrics are that you need for your business and use those. The money in your bank account is a cash question. The profit in your company is a different question. And cash flow, many people come to see me to talk about cash flow. and what their problems might be in that scenario. And of course, cash flow is crucially important. But first and foremost, understand your P&L, and if you can, understand your balance sheet. And again, we're here to help with those kind of challenges if you need some assistance. Okay, so that's number one, understand your financials. Number two is create a plan. Create a plan to get you to the destination that you've defined for your business. Now, again, many business owners that I meet started a business because they knew how to do something and they figured it was better than working for somebody else. That's me. Always felt like I could do it better than I could working for somebody else. Now, that's fine, but you need to know where you're going. What is your ultimate destination for you as an individual, as the business owner? And what is your destination for the business that's going to fund the life that you want as a result of running the business? Now, you won't be able to get where you're going if you don't have a map to get there, will you? This is a bit like getting in your car and having no sat nav and having no map on the back seat, like I always used to have when I first started driving. How are you going to get from A to B? And how are you going to get there in the most efficient way, in the most direct way, without taking a deviation over here or making a right turn there or going the wrong way at a roundabout? That's why you need a plan. So let's call it a map. The business map will include a plan for how you make a profit. How many sales, what costs, how much profit does that generate in order for me to move through each month of the year? And I am a massive fan of having these numbers in big letters on the wall, ready for you to focus on. So in January, we'll start with the new year. In January, how many sales do you need minus your cost in order to make the profit that you want to be able to pay yourself and preferably put some money away for a rainy day? Thinking about the tools that you need to do that, they don't need to be complicated. Your plan doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be a simple list of what I'm going to achieve and by when. Let's call those milestones, and then give yourself some targets along the way. A plan that is sustainable and scalable is the destination. So that's number two, create a business map. Number three, you need to be able to set realistic goals. Now, again, many of us who are eternally optimistic about the world and what it can bring for us tend to set goals that are either too ambitious or we forget to set goals at all. And so if you're starting a new business or if you've been in business for a while, it's easy to start thinking about the end goal. I'm opening a business now and tomorrow I'm going to make £1 million in revenue. Thinking positively is very, very important, but you've got to be realistic along the way. So if you were to sell this plan to your bank manager, asking them to loan you some money, is it believable? Is it achievable? And do I have a map to get me to those goals? So how about we think about this in terms of incremental growth? So in month one, I need to achieve this. In month two, I need to achieve this. In month three, I need to achieve this. By the time I get to month 6, I'm planning on going on holiday. How much money do I need to put to one side in order to make sure that I'm able to do that? I have a VAT bill to pay in every 3 months. How do I know that I've got enough money put aside to make sure that I can pay that? So remember, everything in life that's worthwhile takes work. So don't get distracted by the easy route or the little shiny penny that you saw on the street that you had to go and pick up like a magpie. And don't get caught out in a competitive race. This is about you and your business and setting realistic goals that you believe that you can achieve. And ultimately, we need to focus on long-term growth because that is what's right for your business. So number 3, set realistic goals. And number 4, and this is always a challenging conversation to have with any business owner, but if you were absolutely honest with yourself, if you were going to live, die, or survive by the answer to the question is, what's holding you back? What is it that's preventing you from taking the next step? Do you procrastinate? Do you overthink things? Or do you leap right in and take the first step before you're even sure whether there's a sure footing underneath your foot for that first step? What's preventing you from making the money you know you're capable of earning? Is it a lack of skill? Often, as a business owner, you've started, I'm a plumber, I've started a business, a plumbing business, of course, and I'm a really good plumber. But am I a really good business leader? Am I a really good business manager? Am I able to bring on people and train them in order to do a good job and relieve myself of some of that pressure? Is my problem with my sales team or my marketing team, or is my brand not strong enough? There's a whole host of things there. Usually, all of these things come from what's holding you back, what's preventing you from taking those steps. So are you hanging onto something emotionally that has happened to you in the past? We see a lot of a scarcity mindset. I had some difficulties in a previous company or a previous job or a previous role or in my personal life, and that prevents me from investing in the things that I know ultimately are going to help me to grow. Have you held on to some limiting beliefs? I'm not very good at that, or I've never been very good at planning. I'm hopeless at presenting. I don't like being on video. All of those things are limiting beliefs, which you have to get over if you want to build a growing, sustainable, well-performing, high-performance business with a great team. So once you've identified what's holding you back from your plan to make more money and to grow your business, you can seek out personal or professional tools needed to break through your barriers. And that, again, is one of the things that we focus a lot on when we're coaching clients on a one-to-one basis. What is it that's holding you back and preventing you from getting to the next stage? So that's number 4. Identify what's holding you back. And number 5, if you're just getting started and you're a one-man band, isn't necessarily immediate focus. But if there are more than one of you, then hiring right, getting the right people in the right seat on your company bus is massively important. And it's really easy to hire your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, your cousin, your nephew, whatever else it might be, because you like them and they'll be okay. That is not the way to grow your business. My philosophy is never hire your own DNA. It's really hard to hold people that you're related to account like you could somebody that you bring into your business. So focus on your strengths, hire for the gaps in your strengths. So hire somebody who's better than you at the job you want them to do, and they will then be a star performer. Identify your weaknesses and determine who will help to fill the gaps. Maybe you shouldn't be doing the books for your business. Maybe you shouldn't be doing the marketing for your business. Maybe you shouldn't be building your own website. Maybe you shouldn't be writing your own social media. So think about the plan. Think about who it is you need to build that sustainable business and hire them one by one, and pick the biggest gaps in your strengths first when you hire. Don't hire your own DNA. So once you've got these people on board, you want them to be raving fans, right? You want them to be the right person in the right seat on your company bus so they can absolutely perform. And attitude, often, rather than aptitude, is a much better strategy to hire for. Because if somebody's in it 100% to support you and to help you grow your business, you're going to get much more from them than you would necessarily from somebody who is difficult or only wants to work 9 to 5 or is not as good at the role that you've hired them for as you would like. I score everybody out of 10. If the person you're hiring is less than an 8 out of 10, don't hire them. Or hire them and put them through a training program to get them to an 8 out of 10, but don't let a 7 or a 6 or a 5 or a 4 hold you back from making the money in your business that you absolutely want and deserve. And then finding the right mix of team to work in your business, again, is crucially important. All of these things equal profit, of course. So that's number 5, making sure that you've hired the right people for the right seat on your company bus. Okay, number 6 is an interesting one because, of course, we all believe that we built a business with a great product that people just absolutely want to buy, or a service that they absolutely want to buy. But are you adding real value for your customers? Is the product or the service that you're offering absolutely the one that your customers want to buy? So the bottom line here, of course, is how do you make a profit from something that you're selling? But it's also about how many widgets or services you can sell in order to make that profit, in order to generate the cash in the bank that you need to be able to pay people and grow your business, invest in marketing, and so on and so forth. So remember, your customer's perception of what you sell may not be your own. How honest are you with yourself about the product that you're selling? Have you asked all of your customers that have bought your product or service what they think of the product, the way you serviced the sale of that product, what the after sales might look like, where the holes are in your sales or marketing process? If you haven't done a customer survey, you absolutely should. Now, sometimes those are really uncomfortable to get feedback. Sometimes they're really uncomfortable. But if you want to deliver the perfect customer service, the perfect value for your customer, you need to know, warts and all, how good or how bad your service for your customers really is. Customer survey, one thing, but a bit of market research. What are your competitors saying? What does that sector of the market look like over the next year or 2 years? And are your products and services adaptable enough to be able to fit in with your customers' lifestyle and tastes? So if you think about this as inhabiting your customer's mind and their thoughts and their processes and their desires, you'll be able to create some really compelling stories, products and services customized to your particular market. And then as you innovate and as you change, track how your buyer responds, track what they're saying about what you're doing so that you can adjust your strategy as needed. So that's number 6, adding real value for your customers. Now, number 7 is more, a little bit more about strategy. There aren't too many companies around who can say that honestly they offer their customers something brand new. The true disruptors out there in the marketplace, and if you look at what's happened with banks, traditional banks on the high street, and now we have all these internet banks who have no physical presence, everything is done online. Those guys are true disruptors. So in your marketplace, is there a mechanism by which you can be a disruptor? Can you upset the status quo? Can you do things differently or better than your competition might be doing them? When I look down the high street here in Tring, you can see the high street behind me. There are 7 coffee shops in a town of about 12,500 people, and end to end, our high street is less than 500 meters. That's not true, 1,000 meters. And so how does one coffee shop distinguish itself from another? One is a roastery, one is an eatery, one does cakes, one is a professional barista that runs the coffee shop, and so on. So just think about how you make yourself different. And then from an innovation point of view, what can you do to change the game, to attract more customers, to deliver a better service? So I'll pick one of the big guys just to talk about just for a second so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. So if you look at a strategic innovator, for example, like Netflix. Now, Netflix is a day-to-day service that we all know and probably subscribe to. But before that streaming service came along, how did you rent a movie? You went to a little known place called Blockbusters, right? There was one on our high street until probably only about 18 months ago. Blockbuster refused to move with the times. They felt that their business was safe and secure. They had millions of pounds worth of tapes in their stores that you'd go in and rent, and they took their eye off the ball. Netflix saw how they could capitalize on this need for home entertainment and found a way to make movies even more accessible. Now, not only did they find a way to make a profit, but they also changed the entire entertainment industry. Apple did exactly the same thing with music when they started with the first iPod. Now, your business doesn't need to be in that category, but in terms of strategic innovation, what else could you do to make things better for your business? How do you distinguish yourself from other people? So that's number 7, strategy, strategic innovation. Number 8, building connections, hugely important. Never underestimate the value of networking and getting along with other people in terms of building connections. Look at your network. They're not just individuals. They're a collection of strategic alliances. Who else do I know that has a complementary business that I could be working with in order to share referrals from one business to another, for example? So that's number 8. Leverage your connections. Make sure you're getting the best out of your network. Now, number 9 is customer engagement strategies. So understanding how to make a profit means you've got to look at all areas of your business. So how do you engage with your target market? There's no one-size-fits-all marketing strategy or sales strategy. They all vary, of course they do. And you've got to customize yours to fit your product and clientele. Now, social media is social media. It's not typically a marketing strategy for many businesses. If you're a B2C operation and you're running on a high street, for example, then social media works really, really well. If you're selling trucks to Saudi Arabia, social media is absolutely unimportant and irrelevant. So figure out what your marketing strategy needs to be in order to get to your customer base. Where does my customer shop and buy is the question you've got to ask yourself. And then figure out how to do that. Now, I'm a huge fan of organic SEO traffic to your website. The more people that come to your website, the more people are going to buy. So on your website, you need to tell people exactly what you do for them and answer their questions before they've even thought they need to ask them. That way, you'll drive organic traffic to your website. And if you want to talk about customer engagement strategies in more detail, then just drop me a note, and one of our marketing guys will happily help you with where you might want to target your business most effectively from a marketing point of view. So that's number 9. Customize your engagement strategies. Now, number 10 is a little bit obvious, but once you've figured out what's holding you back, once you've figured out how to grow, how to innovate, how to target your market, and you've understood your financials, your P&L and your balance sheet, then you need to take action. We're called Action Coach, not sit on a sofa coach. And so taking action is a critical piece of what we help our clients to do. Now, if you write a plan, an action plan, make sure that you've got that incremented. This week, I'm going to do these 5 things to move my business forward. Next week, I'm going to do these 5 things to move my business forward. And that will help you to jumpstart your growth and increase profit in your business. It's very easy to get into a business and then plateau, to get into a business and not drive for that increase in profit or drive for that next employee or that next milestone that you'd like to be able to achieve. Remember, being in business is about creating the life that you want. And so you have to make money in your business every day in order for you to be able to move forwards. So this might involve creating a new department or team or product or marketing campaign, or doing some training or reading some books or educating yourself. So you're better equipped to lead your business, whether that's 1 man, 2 men, 3 men, 10 men, 100 men, makes no difference. Knowing what you need to know and knowing what you don't know today is hugely important to moving your business forward. So whatever you need to do, make sure it's in your plan and make sure you've got concrete, achievable goals set for not just the company, but for yourself and for each individual in the company. If you haven't been to one of our 90-day planning sessions, which run, strangely enough, every 90 days, the next one is December the 13th, you should absolutely come along and experience what that looks and feels like in order to write a plan for the next 3 months for your business. Taking massive action is number 10. Now, number 11, we are a few minutes away from any questions that you might have. So if you've got any questions, type them into the question box for me. Number 11 is track your progress. So what gets measured gets managed. I have 2 or 3 new businesses that I've just started to work with, and one of the things that completely shocks me still is that neither of them know how much profit they made in October or September or August or July. They're waiting until their year end before their accountant tells them whether they've made any money or not. That's not a way to run a business. That's not taking financial responsibility. It's abdicating responsibility and leaving it to your accountant in the hope that they will tell you at the end of the year that you've made some money and you can take a dividend. So you must track your progress. Now, if you aren't in Xero or QuickBooks or Zoho Books or Sage Cloud, then you must be. You must make sure that the data that's coming into your business, the sales data, the number of leads and everything else is reported in electronic terms, either on your smartphone or on your desktop computer, so you can measure where you're getting to. And the first one is your financials. So just because you've created an action plan doesn't mean that it's automatically going to turn a profit. Monitor your results as the plan goes through. Have you got all of those nuances just right? Are you keeping every customer happy? Have you optimized the number of pounds that you're spending on building your product? Is your widget absolutely cost optimized so you can make the maximum amount of profit? Is your cash gap too big between the time when you buy your stock and when you sell your product? All of those things make a massive difference, and you need to track your progress as you go through. So set times that you'll check in with your team, with your accountant, and with anybody else that's involved with your business to evaluate your progress. How are we doing? Have we hit our goals for this month? Have we hit our goals for this week, depending on the size of your business? Or maybe you decide to check in every quarter because you're confident that things look good. The important thing here is that you track exactly where you are in the process so that you know how far along you've moved in your plan, you know whether you made a profit or not, you know whether your customers are happy or not. All of those things are really, really important. And if you want to watch something, great happen, watch the amount of growth you get from organic marketing to your website and the line that your profit takes, because it will track the amount of visitors that come into your website. So tracking your progress allows you to evaluate what's working and what isn't, to refine your strategies for making a profit, and then to get feedback, obviously, from your team and your customers and so on. Now, remember, if you're consistently missing your goals, it's probably because they're not realistic. So is that time to reevaluate? Look at it, take a measurement, figure out whether or not you set your goals correctly, and does your action plan meet your goals? Or maybe you're just focusing in the wrong areas. Now, conversely, if you're achieving your goals really easily, of course, you can ramp up your goal setting and therefore your profits. I set a target for November. It was X £1,000 worth of sales and Y profit. Actually, we smashed that and we did twice that much. Okay, so that's great. Why was that? What happened that made that occur? Did you miss sales in October that all came through in November? So it's an artificially high figure. Again, tracking that as you go through is critically important to make sure you get where you need to be. So let's just recap. I don't see any questions in the question box, so let's just run through the 11 again, just so that we're on the same page. So number one, understand your financials. If you don't know how to do that, call us or speak to your accountant and have them walk you through a really simple view of the P&L. Is everything that's in your profit and loss account actually money that you know you've spent, and why? Number two, create a business plan, create a business map. You've got a dashboard. Where are you going? Number three, set realistic goals. Make sure that you've got those absolutely clear and they will work for you on your journey. Bit of self-criticism here. Number four was identify what's holding you back. What is preventing you from taking the decision to move your business forwards? Number five, hire the right team and put them in the right seat on your company bus. And then make sure that you're hiring for the weaknesses in your own knowledge, in your own strength, I should say, rather than adding to your own strength and leaving other gaps in your organization. Add value for your customers. The most important answer here is add real value for your customers. The bottom line for a profit isn't just a number, it's the value your customer perceives from the products that you sell. Number seven, focus on strategy. Number eight, leverage your connections and networking. Number nine, customize your customer engagement strategies, understanding what that looks like and how you're going to get to your target market. That's marketing. Take action was number 10. Roll out your plan. Make sure you're not missing a trick along the way, and that will help you jumpstart growth and increase profits in your business. And then lastly, make sure you're tracking your progress properly, efficiently, effectively, and that you and your team all know exactly what's happening every month and every step of the way. So I hope that's been useful. The 11 steps to making a profit in your business. We run this every Tuesday at 8 o'clock and every Thursday at 12:30, so you can breakfast or lunch accordingly. I appreciate you joining us. I hope that's been useful. Don't forget to join us for the next session, which will be next Tuesday at 8 a.m. Thanks ever so much for joining.